Hey there, how are you? My name is Avian, and I'm so happy that you have decided to join me here for this class. I enjoy working with alcohol markers, Posca markers, and colored pencils. And sometimes I even like using all three and even more, such as acrylic paint and watercolors, and doing something called mixed media. Over the past 10 years of my artist career, I have learned and gathered knowledge on how to draw and paint. And over the past 3 years of teaching, I have learned what appeals to my students and how they learn best. In this class, I want to help build your artistic abilities. Here's what we're going to learn in this class. We will be drawing a bird, specifically a pelican. This class is designed to be easy to sit down, grab your graphite pencil, your sketch pad, and just draw along with me. I don't want you to think too hard about this. Just relax, follow what I say, and you'll have a simple drawing of a pelican in under 25 minutes. The paper and pencil that you use really don't matter. It's up to you what you use. Just use whatever you feel comfortable with and whatever you like to draw with. If you prefer to draw with a pen, that's fine. In this class, I will be doing a little bit of erasing. Whatever works for you is great. I will display the reference image on the screen so you can see that up there beside the drawing. In the coming weeks, I will have more classes drawing birds and in the future other animals. So stay tuned to see what I upload next. There's a list down below this video with all the details and full description of what you might need. I also invite you to please, when you're done with this class, leave a review. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to ask me, and I or someone else will be sure to help you out. One final thing is that I'd like you to feel free to check me out on Instagram. My page is Andy's Artitude, and you can see my work, what I do on a daily basis. It is now time to start this class. So sharpen your pencils and let the class begin. Alright, so we are going to draw our first bird, and we will begin by drawing a pelican. I took this picture in Florida, in Tampa. So we'll begin by drawing the body of this bird. So when drawing animals, whether it be birds or cats or even people, I like to figure out what's the overall flow of this animal, what's the movement in the overall body, in other words, what's the gesture, and this should only take maybe 30 seconds to figure out. So real quick, what I'll do is I'll go in here, start mapping out the beak, and this is all I want for the beak to begin with. And then I get the head, comes back, forward, and then we have the body down in here. And what this allows me to do is establish the size of the animal, where it basically sits in space on my piece of paper. So at this point, I might want to say, hey, I need to make this bigger, or I need to make it smaller, and I should do this before going in and adding more details and before getting carried away. I'll add a little indication for the wing down here that's bent, and also the legs. And we may modify it going down the road, we may make it bigger or smaller, we will see how things proceed. So similar to what we did in the warm-up video, where you saw me drawing on my iPad, I will now go in and start drawing the barrel, the body of the bird that kind of resembles a barrel. So most birds, whether it be pelicans or flamingos, parakeets, their body is very similar to the shape of an egg. So think of an egg or a barrel like we saw in that example in the previous video. So we'll go from there. So you may notice that I'm not adding one solid line. I'm adding lots of little gradual lines. This allows me to modify and make my line or shape bigger or smaller and adjust its size whenever I want. So instead of just drawing a long random line, and it's recommended to add these little constructive lines, so to speak. And we're not adding in too much of a hard line. We're working softly and just easing into our drawing, trying to think of this as trying to find the shape of your animal, trying to carve it out of a piece of marble, trying to find that body inside of the marble, inside of the clay. Alright, so that's my body that I'm happy with. You saw I was able to adjust the size back here. I erased a little bit of it, made it a bit smaller. I also, if I were to try to find the axis of this, the overall angle that this body is going in, the lengthwise, and I put my pencil here in the middle, it's kind of pointed up. So if you were to put your pencil through this shape long ways, and we can see this overall angle that the shape is going, and you can compare this to how it is in the photo that you were working from. Alright, we will proceed with the neck. Kind of swoops back. Again, we're adding these gradual lines. And the body basically flows off of the neck. And in this case, this bird, this pelican, has a very long neck. Other birds have very short necks or no necks at all. They do have a neck, but it's very almost hidden. It's basically the body going from the body to the head very abruptly. And then right in here is where we have the beak. So if we look at the shape, we get this nice curve right in here. Try to notice the overall shape that we're working in. Maybe you notice that there's something that looks like a box, or something that looks like a U, or maybe a horseshoe. Try to think of simple, familiar shapes that you have in your house or wherever you live. Try to think of those simple, familiar shapes and then apply them to whatever you're drawing. And looking at the photo, if we look at where the end of the beak, if we were to draw a line over to the left from the end of the beak, I'm trying to find where does it end? Does it end if we drew a line below the body here or below the neckline? Basically what I see in the photo is that it ends down here, right here in the body area. And the top of the beak is basically a continuation of the top of the head. So the top of the head continues to flow down. We have a bit more skin kind of flowing into the bottom of the beak right in here. I'll add in a few details here for the very top of the beak up here. What I picture right here is looking at the photo. I see a few little triangles, so I'll simply draw those in. And then I'll draw the middle of the beak. It comes right through these two triangles and goes all the way down. And I believe the bottom beak ends a little bit before the top beak ends. So we'll leave it right there. Okay, before we add any more details, we'll go down and work on the wing and feet. So what I see when I look at the wing down here is basically the body continues to curve gently down and around. And then it curves back a bit more. And it kind of comes into this body here. And there's a little segment right in here that comes forward. It's very hard to see right in there. And there's a little part of the wing right in here. And then we have a few feathers that stray down here. Okay, we got that far. So for the feet, what I'm going to do is come down here and draw a simple shape of this piece of wood. Nothing too complicated, just a simple box right in here to indicate that there's a platform it's sitting on. Alright, and so we'll draw in the legs now. We do notice that I'm going to follow these lines that I drew at the beginning as guides. I'll just use them as like a center column and go around adding the shape of the legs. We see there's a bulge here, then it gets thinner. Like I said, using these as an axis or a center column. And then basically our foot is like a triangle composed of other triangles. So what I see is I see a triangle here and a triangle here composing the webbed feet. And here we can see this one overlaps this one right here. Alright, and the final thing we'll do is we'll add the eye detail. So we'll go in, it's right near these two little triangles here. We go a little ways up the head, add in a simple circle and a dot. And then we can add this area around the eye. I may go and extend this part of the wing where the wing connects to the body, just a little bit. So this is where the wing right here connects to the body, and it comes out, and the wing is kind of bends right here. But think of the wing as two parts, the main inner part and then the outer part that when it spreads out, will unbend. Alright, so I've gone in and erased some of the initial line work I did to when I added in the gesture or the initial framework of this drawing. So what I will do to conclude this pelican is go in with a 5B pencil and just add in a bit of shading ever so much just to give it a bit of a three-dimensional look. So I will redraw some of the lines that I erased a bit a while ago. We're going to go in now and add just a bit of shading to add a bit of three-dimensionality to this basic sphere of the body. And just a bit of shadows over here underneath where the wing is, where the legs are down in here. We notice we have a bit of shadow right on here. This is a bit of a bulge or a wide part right in here on this fleshy part of the beak. Okay, so there is our pelican, our first drawing that we've done of a bird. Again, just to review, thinking of the body as an egg or a football, very simple shape, and then we started out by drawing in the basic curve of the body, and then adding on to that, adding very simple shapes and shapes that are familiar to us, and building on that. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this class and were able to learn something from it. Please feel free to post a picture of your drawing so that all of us can see what you did. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to start a discussion in the discussions tab below this video, and I will be happy to answer your questions. If you would like to support me, please check out my website at www.andysartitude.com, and feel free to visit me on Instagram and Facebook, where you can see daily updates of my artwork at Andy's Artitude. Stick around here and follow me, because in the coming weeks I will be uploading more classes. That's been it for now. I hope you have a wonderful day. See you in the next class.